welcome to a very brand new episode of Pulse with me, Shrija, here on Mirror Now. Today we're discussing about Bengaluru, but in fact this has also caught the national attention is what we're given to understand. We're talking about lakes, but before that, let's also look into what else is making news on the show. Sri Lanka declares state of emergency following communal violence in certain parts. India keeps a close vigil as our men in blue are all set to play their first T23 series match in Colombo. Conrad Sangma takes oath as the Meghalaya's 12th Chief Minister, a five-party alliance and led by NPP claims the throne in Meghalaya. Tamil Nadu farmers take to the street as Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Governor Banwari Lal Purohit. Farmers demand setting up of Kaveri Water Management Board. Now the question is the delay in action on Supreme Court's order. Well, welcome to the show here on Pulse. Today we are discussing about a lake encroachment. The Bengaluru fire, the Varthur lake, and only the main reason over here has always been especially the encroachment, the illegal dumping, and also the dumping of especially the effluents, chemical effluents is what we are given to understand. So today, right now, I'm standing here at Patundur Lake. What you're seeing around me, where exactly I'm standing, is the lake bed. Now, this particular area has now been completely converted into a stretch of road. It's going to be a 80 feet road, only to suit the demands, especially of some of the vested interests. It could be big builders or also even for that matter some of the leaders within the Congress party itself. But what I would like to show you here, just right onto my right side, is the lake. There has been a couple of months ago, this particular place was completely filled with the water. It is of course a lake. Now they have dumped it just. Even the citizens also noticed how trucks were passing through this particular area, stretch of road, only to dump this particular area, that is the water body, and to complete. Today we are joined in by a couple of citizens where they're completely, they are completely irked, especially by the decisions taken by some of the civic bodies, be it the BDA, who's right now the custodian of this particular lake. Well, thank you for joining us. At first, I would like to ask you, what really is the issue? You'll have been protesting, demanding the government to pay heed to your request.
See, they've proposed to form a 80 feet road over here, which is actually not required. We have a lot of arterial roads around.
Absolutely. And
this is just being done in the interest of some high-level ministers and builders.
Right.
There's absolutely no need. And the connecting roads are only about 20-25 feet wide. So we don't see the need to actually cover up a lake. And you can see around, look around, there are a lot of migratory birds also coming in.
Absolutely.
You're destroying nature basically.
True, true. Well, coming to you, Sandeep, you have been constantly campaigning and also staging protests, also questioning, in fact, some of the leaders, Congress leaders itself. But unfortunately, we understand all your demands and requests have fallen on deaf ears. So what really does it mean?
Well, what we see is a lot of inertia, especially officials. And worse, they tend to be very irresponsible in their statements. On Saturday, we finally went and submitted a petition from all the residents of the area to the BBMP commissioner, and he gave a public statement. And he was very, just because there was media there, he said, if this lake plan encroaches if the road plan either encroaches or even the buffer zone of 75 meters, we will not build it. And he said we are stopping all work immediately.
So have they, after all that promise was done, have they stopped it?
After that, the whole day there was dumping and was leveling. The next day, Sunday was peaceful, which was surprising because all the Sundays of last month we have not had peace. But yesterday morning, suddenly we see there are trucks and JCBs. So we citizens.
Okay.
So we had to actually turn them back. And today we notice in the news the engineer who's in charge of constructing the lake, he's given a statement which reeks of ignorance. He actually says, well, we have a work order and we're building it next to the lake, so it is not a problem. Now, the NGT clearly says 75 meters is a buffer zone. You cannot construct anything new. So when engineers are not aware, if they are so ignorant, what can we expect of them?
That's true. Yes, we understand this is a 13-acre lake, a water body. Once it was pristine, but all that you're seeing now is dumping.
Yeah, so I think it's very evident. You can see how, those migratory birds, this is the time when those birds are supposed to really come here, and you can see how this dumping is caused. So we hear about how Bangalore once had as an ecosystem of 600 lakes, and it's slowly vanishing. So you can see this happening right in front of your eyes. Now, if we don't stop this, we're going to leave nothing for the next generation. I think this is the right time to stop this, and I think, as he said, it's a clear violation of the NGT guidelines. And we all, the citizens movement, have to come together to stop that this doesn't happen and let this happen.
Right. This is not the very first time that over the last couple of months or weeks that we've been seeing, people coming out, protesting. In fact, we've seen over the last 1 year, but still it clearly hasn't, especially the residents haven't really heard anything about it. But can you really stress upon the point as far as the government now, NGT, the National Green Tribunal, wrapping the civic bodies, but unfortunately, clearly the civic bodies haven't learned their lesson.
As far as the government is concerned, it's a clear example of the government and the elected representative hypocrisy. On the one side, they say they want to preserve the water bodies, the ecosystem, and the other side, they are closing their eyes and having a deaf ear towards all the people who have been asking for fencing, they are measuring and fencing the lake here. And then alone, there is a need or a proportion for a road comes. And then as far as we, the landowners, the site concerned, we came to know about the road in a corner of a newspaper in a BBMB advertisement. And yesterday we hear from the assistant engineer that he is not aware of the government's or the BBMB commissioners and the mayor's order to stop the work. And that's quite alarming, and we have to look at their ignorance of the media, because it has been visibly in the newspaper.
Right. So this, yeah.
I think because of Bengaluru Lake being in the media always, only that lake is given importance, and that to preserve only Bengaluru Lake. But then Bangalore has got a lot of other lakes. This is an excellent example how this lake is being destroyed. So we should look beyond Bengaluru Lake and try to protect the other lakes also.
Okay. Well, we also understand that this is not the very first time where citizens are coming together, protesting, registering the protest, also letting the government know enough is enough. And that is what exactly you saw. The citizens did not find any truck drivers today or dumping on this particular lake bed. But what they also know was just yesterday, they did of course find a couple of them coming here and also dumping, especially the mud. But before that, let's also look into what else is making headlines on this show. Shifting gear and moving to Tamil Nadu, where superstar Rajinikanth made his first ever public address since his political entry in December. Now, thousands thronged to document in Chennai, where Rajini unveiled a statue of former Chief Minister and also, in fact, actor M.G. Ramchandran. Addressing his fans and students as Neta Rajini, Talaivar, in fact, said there is a vacuum of leadership in Tamil Nadu and that he will find what it is. Well, let's go across to Pramod, who's joining us from Chennai. Well, Pramod, what can you really get us on the show?
Well, I would say like yesterday was a very captivating moment for the people of Tamil Nadu, and nobody moved out of the idiot box for almost 40 minutes because Rajinikanth spoke for 40 minutes. It was not just a normal speech. He was having a kind of a fiery moment over there, and it was like very interesting the way he answered certain critical questions one by one. It only showed that he was concentrating on whatever criticism that he was being bestowed upon, and he calculatively given answers to them. Well, I have a kind of like set of ardent fans of Rajinikanth over here. You saw the speech yesterday. Let me start with this point. Rajinikanth, who wants to clear the system, goes ahead and unveils the statue of AIADMK, and nobody from AIADMK is opposing it too. What is your view about that?
See, he's gone to open a statue of MJR. He's spoken so well about it. I don't think he's spoken anything bad about them or something for the ADMK people to oppose this first and foremost. So I think it's a welcome move. If they say something against it, I think there's something wrong with them because it's end of their leader, their party leader whose statue is releasing.
But with the comments Rajnikant faced, I mean, gave yesterday, now the Fisheries Minister Jayakumar calls himself as a sparrow and AIDMK is an eagle. It's a kind of like an odd metaphor to bring forward, but still, we don't know if he wants to call AIDMK as a predator or not. But still, is Rajnikant a sparrow?
He is a gentle giant, I think. Let me put it that way. But he's doing amazing work, irrespective of comparing with birds and everything. I think the words have spoken enough, and I mean, we have been seeing who's speaking and who is actually doing work. And I don't want to say anything about Mr. Jayakumar's statement because I don't think there's any credit to it. But Rajinikanth has made, I think, put everything broken down point by point on whatever people had, right from the poster to Anvi RCL, everything is decoded. Everything. I think, isn't that good enough? And why still ask more?
Well, of course, there was one interesting point where he gave a kind of an advice to anybody who wants to talk to the people. Collective conscience. He called it as mass conscience, and he advised the politicians to be more respectable when you speak to people. And coming to that point, he was criticized when he said, somebody asked him for policies, and he said for a moment he lost his kind of conscience over there, 2 minutes or something, and he called the person as a small reporter. That's another story. But coming to that, even to yesterday he did not give any kind of explanation about his policies. Are you happy with his speech alone, or do you need any kind of clarity with his policies?
We are really very much happy about what S.V. Thalaivar gave for 40 minutes. I think that is more than enough. We'll wait for his manifesto strategy in another event.
So you don't want to go ahead with his policies anymore. Yes, of course, his speech was quite enough, and I don't know, for some reason he showed that he's a superstar again in the speech also. But not just that. There he spoke about the connection between what he had and MGR had. So is it kind of like acceptable to say that he's actually pulling the, should I use the term pulling MGR's glory towards him?
Definitely not. Both of them are mass heroes, whether in movies or in politics. Both of them are mass heroes. He is just looking on the people governance which Purachi Thalaivar gave. That's what he wants to bring back.
Absolutely. He said he wanted to bring a poor-friendly government. But here's another fact. Very sternly, for the first time, he said that I am here to fill the void. That was a stern statement made by him. What void? Stalin is there, TT Vidyanagaran is there, EPS, OPS is there. What void is he talking about?
So it is very clear and evident that there is some vacuum that has filled Tamil Nadu, politics of Tamil Nadu. And if Rajinikanth cannot fill the vacuum, no one else could. So it is very evident, and people will show in case of results. Down the line in the elections, you will see what vacuum has been filled by Thalaivar.
Well, he did give an explanation yesterday also about him being criticized, and he said he's just throwing away those criticisms. Especially, he claimed that I am coming here because you are not doing your job. Who is he talking about? Is it like the Tamil Nadu government? Why can't he just, you being a fan, I'm asking you, directing you this question, because why can't he directly say that? Kamal Hassan is directly saying this. What is stopping him from doing that?
So once his political entry is confirmed, once the flag has been launched, the party name has been launched, things will be directly put on face. So yesterday it was just a function where he was unveiling the statue of MGR, and it was in front of all the college students, and there was some political connect also, wherein he clearly mentioned all the aspects that needs to be mentioned point by point. So there are things to go, there are different manad which is pending, and there are many things to be spoken by Thalaivar.
Well, some is a very small term to explain a 40 minutes very beautiful speech, I would honestly say that. But still, that is the first time we saw Rajinikanth, after a very long period, giving such a speech. Of course, a captivating speech. Do you think that his buttons have been pushed, that he has crossed the limit of just listening to criticism and not retaliating? Is that why he gave us such a speech yesterday?
Not exactly. He just wanted to give answers to those who want really to know what is happening. And as Thalaivar said, Mr. A.C. Shanmugam triggered it, so he just started off.
But his comments and his criticism was not towards A.C. Shanmugam. It was towards other people in particular, people who criticized him about not having a policy, people who using unnecessary terms, be it social media, everything. He was advising them. Who are these people?
As he said, once Thalaivar announces the political party, we would directly face them by naming them.
So like it's very interesting how Rajnikant's fans also are like bound by that point. Always be good, talk good, and not point out fingers as anybody who even as is also criticizing him. Even at that point, they don't want to criticize them. But the speech yesterday made it very clear. Rajnikant is here to cover that void. He wants to fill the void, and it's going to be a challenge for Kamal Hassan, who is also, along with his South Indian Justice League, has prepared himself for this one. Back to you, Srija.
Yeah, please. Well, thank you, Pramod, for joining us. But before that, let's also, in fact, coming back to the lake story here as far as Bengaluru is concerned. Of course, like we were pointing out, saying that how the Patanur lake has now been encroached. It's not just one lake that we are also looking at, but the latest what we are seeing over here is Patanur lake. We can already see as far as the lake is concerned, that's the only part what you can see is where it's left water, but in fact that particular water body has also been completely contaminated with sewage. You also see rampant construction, unbridled construction as far as Patanur lake is concerned. Now this particular lake bed has been completely in fact covered with mud and also construction debris. Let's also go across to some more citizens over here who have joined us. Well, thank you sir for joining us. Before that, can you also tell us about what really is this construction about? Like we pointing out the unbridled construction, you also did mention about the vested interests.
Yeah, now this is not only the lake bed. The entire Whitefield has been plundered by a variety of people.
Right.
First is of course the builders who do illegal unauthorized construction.
Right.
You can see the number of multi-storied buildings which have come up. In a plot of say 6 by 40, you will be appalled to find a 6-storied, 7-storied buildings.
Right.
With a total disregard to the bylaws of BBMP.
Absolutely.
They don't know about it. I brought it to the notice of the BBMP commissioner on his website. I've gone and personally did some kind of a dharna in the BBMP ward office.
Right.
Met the executive engineer, assistant executive engineer, ward engineer, and what have you.
What's the response been?
Zilch. That's what it is. Zero. Because in one part, I live in a layout extension called the Prashant extension. And the number of that has come by way of multi-storied buildings, it has got to be seen to be believed. In a road of about, say, 10 feet,
right.
You have, in my street, First Cross, where I stay, you have at least 3 or 4 PG accommodation.
Absolutely.
And now, I mean, I've talked to in fact, the present corporator, when he was canvassing, when he was standing for the municipal elections, he came to my house.
Right.
And next door to mine, this multi-story construction was on. And I told him, this is what's happening. You see, in such a small plot, a fellow is constructing 6 stories, 7 stories. Will you put a stop to it when you get elected? He said, fine. After he got elected, I asked him what happened. He said, no, the fellow's gone to the court and they've got a stay order.
Right.
Now, this is a real game everybody plays, You start constructing and then this fellow will say, I'll issue a notice of demolition of the whole thing. You go to the court, get a stay order and you merrily carry on.
Right, absolutely. It's a clear irony over here, because if you remember just 1.5 years ago, you had the civic body BBMP coming up, saying that they're going to demolish the houses construction because they are all sitting on the stormwater drain. So what we understand is that now the government itself, the government authorities themselves are signing papers and asking everybody, especially the powerful, to go ahead and construct. And this is a new link. Can you tell us what is this link about?
Yeah. See, first of all, the authorities like the BBMP, one would reasonably expect that they know the law, right? Now, if they have issued a work order, and we have not seen a work order, that is why we are very suspicious about this project, because there is only an RMP plan which is 2015. Okay, we have not seen a work order for this. Nobody has produced it to us.
Yes.
So we are wondering if it is being constructed completely illegally.
Okay.
That is one thing. The second thing is, if a work order is issued, don't these officials, what I'm talking of, engineers, assistant engineer, executive engineers, chief engineers, wouldn't they know the law?
Yes.
So this is a blatant violation with knowledge, which means they are colluding. There is,
Okay, so are you trying to tell us that now forget about covering your stormwater drains? Now, in fact, they are cutting through the itself.
Yes,
We also understand that several trees were also cut for this project.
about 200, 300 trees were cut. There was vegetation all the way. This entire 1 kilometer stretch was with deep vegetation like that. Forest on the side.
Right.
It was the same forest continued all the way. And this was like a great ecosystem. We used to see 200, 300 different species of birds, lot of flora and fauna, native species. And this entire land was Gomala. If you ask any old villager here,
So you're trying to say Gomala land is a grazing land,
Correct.
and it's illegal to construct anything at all.
Correct.
So which means the government all the bylaws here.
No, it was Gomala. Now, I believe their papers have been changed to private ownership. So, there's a bigger connivance in the revenue department. So, whatever the villagers are referring to as Gomala today is in private names.
Yes.
And we believe it is to facilitate construction of big tall towers like that here, that they're trying to build a 80 feet road here. Because this 80 feet road doesn't connect anywhere. It goes to a 15 feet road there. And this side, they have not got permission.
Yes.
Out of the 20 people who are affected in this road plan, nobody is yet given permission, and today the Prestige, this land belongs to Prestige. Today I met.
We also did find quite a lot of security guards here. Now, whose security guards are these?
Those are from Embassy Group. So the Embassy Group who keep loitering around here. So they claim this land is theirs. If
Right? Yeah.
They're setting fire to the forest also.
They're
Of
setting
late, they have
fire.
been setting fire to the forest also over here.
So who do you think actually this particular link road which connects from Wattur, Kodi to ITPL, if it does not benefit the citizens, who else does it benefit?
As far as we are proposed road will be the landowner of this particular plot.
Absolutely.
And we believe a huge building that as Sandeep has shown you just now,
Yes.
is only going to add more vehicles to the road and going to have more traffic and congestion.
Absolutely. Well, clearly you heard it from the citizens who are protesting the ideas of the government, where they have plans to cover an entire water body and also convert it into a road here. Now, this particular road, as far as government is concerned, is a link road which will connect Kodi as well as ITPL. But who is it going to benefit? With that, we are wrapping up the show, but stay tuned to Mirror Now. There are more news and updates coming up on the other side.